Hi guys, and welcome back to our tutorial series. And last time I left off, I showed you guys how to make your very own FPS input controller script, and this tutorial is a continuous. I'm going to be showing you how to make the same script using C#. So let's get started. Click on your FPS script folder and create a new C# script. Rename it to whatever you want. I'm just going to call mine FPS input con C. Save that. Open this up in Mono Develop. Okay. First things first, we didn't use the start function, so delete it. Because remember, this is the basics, and then I'm gonna go to advanced afterwards. Go back into Unity, just copy your script name. Go back into Mono Develop and rename the public class to the script name itself. Save it. Now let's start defining the variables we used in the last tutorial. The first one was the speed our player moves in, so public float speed, let's say equals to, I think it was 50, I believe. Well, I'm going to change it. I know 50 is a bit too slow. I'm going to press 200. Then we had a public float jump speed, and I'm going to set it as 100. We also had a move direction variable defining our player's direction, so public vector 3 move direction, it's going to be equals to vector 3 dot 0. We also had a gravity variable applying gravity to our player, so gravity public float gravity, it's going to be equals to, I would say, 90. And finally we had a boolean which was called grounded to check if we hit the floor, so public float bool grounded, and it's going to be equals to default type of false. There we go. So we define the variables we need in our script. Now let's start applying this in our update function, so it will allow our player to move. So the first thing, we're going to check if we're on the floor or if we're still in midair. If we're in midair, we don't want the player to be able to move until it hits the ground. So if grounded, close bracket, open curly brace, close curly brace. So if we hit the floor, what direction do we want the player to move in? So move direction is going to be equals to a new vector 3 open bracket, and it's going to ask for your x-axis first. So we want to get our axis from our input controller horizontal, so input dot get axes open bracket horizontal close bracket. So the horizontal axis, for you who don't know what it is your A and D keys, and in first person this would allow us to move left and right. And the next axis is going to ask you for is your Y. We're going to leave that blank because we're going to configure the jump afterwards. So comma 0 comma, so Y is set to 0. Next we want our Z axis, so float input, and this is going to come from our vertical axis, so dot get axis, open bracket, and it's going to be vertical. That's your WNS keys, so that will allow you to move up and down. Great, so we got the new direction set up for the player. We need to actually define this to our player now. So move direction is going to be equal to our player's transform dot transform direction, open bracket. What direction are we giving it? It's going to be move direction, which we defined above. So move direction, not iPhone. There we go, close bracket, save that. Great, so we apply it to the player itself, but there's no speed applied to it at the moment. So move direction times equals speed. So this is the speed the player is going to move in, and which is 200, which we defined above. Okay, great. We've got the direction sorted out. Let's define its jump next. So if grounded, open bracket, close bracket. The reason we want it grounded for jump as well is because if we're jumping, we want to make sure that we can't keep pressing the space bar, because if we do, it's going to keep pushing our player up, and we're going to keep jumping in an infinite loop and we'll never fall down unless we stop pressing jump. So the ground is basically going to check if we hit the space key, it's going to set the grounded boolean to 0, so it's saying we're jumping already, and then when it's finished doing the jump, it's going to hit the floor again and it's going to set itself back to true, and then we can jump again by pressing the space bar. So if input dot get key, open bracket, key code dot space, close bracket, open bracket, open curly brace, sorry, and the direction we want our player to jump in is in the Y. So move direction dot Y equals jump speed. Great, now we've got the jump defined. Now we've got the basic stuff sorted out, so allowing our player to move left and right, up and down, and jump. Now we want to apply gravity to our player. So underneath this closing bracket, curly brace, sorry, type in move direction dot Y minus equals gravity times time dot delta time. So we want our player to fall on the Y axis. Now the most important variable here is the controller. Now this script only works if there's a character controller applied to it, so we need to make sure that we have one attached to it. So var controller is equals to get component get components mean more than one, but you just want to get one component, so it's going to be equal to our character controller. Actually, here's the difference. In Java we put open bracket, in C# we put the greater than and less than sign. So less than character controller, and then the greater than sign, and then the close bracket, open bracket and close bracket, and then close it. That's how you would write that in C#. That's probably the only difference. Other than that, our code is exactly the same, and beside the variables we defined above. And then we defined our flags. So var flag is equals to our controllers dot move, open bracket, move direction times time dot delta time. Save that, and let's apply this to the grounded function. So grounded equals open bracket flags. Oops, it's not capital. Flags and collision flags dot collided below. Close bracket, apostrophe sign equals 0. There we go. Our FPS input script is completed in C#, and let's test if it works. Go into your Unity game project and drag your new script onto your main player, and go to your main player and turn off the JavaScript just to check if the C# one is working. Let me just remove that, and let's just run our game and it should work. Fantastic, there we go. We've just created the same script in C# and there wasn't much difference. Yeah, so we've created our FPS input script using C#, and that's about it for today. And tomorrow I'm going to be uploading the tutorials on how to make a gun shoot, and also how to prevent it from going through walls like this. I will show you. As you can see, as soon as I walk next to the wall, my gun won't go through it anymore. It's gonna stay away. There we go. There we go, guys. There's a gun in action as well. And don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.